Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be teaching you about salt and water. Let's jump right in. The next time you are at the beach and accidentally swallow a mouthful of seawater, you will immediately notice it is unlike the water that comes from the faucet at home. Seawater contains many dissolved chemical compounds that can vary from one region of the ocean to another. The saltiness or salinity of seawater comes from dissolved salts, mostly sodium and chloride, but also contains small amounts of sulfate ions, magnesium ions, and a whole host of other compounds. Seawater contains about 3.5 of various salts. For comparison, human blood contains 0.9% of salt, and drinking water contains less than 0.5% of salt. There are several factors that affect the salinity of seawater, which can vary from one area of the ocean to the next. Marine life removes chemicals from the water as they grow to build their skeletons. Mineral ions combine to form fine sediments that clump together and eventually settle on the bottom of the ocean. Fresh water from rivers dilutes seawater, where the rivers meet the ocean. This mix of fresh and salt water is termed brackish water. Some marine life is able to adapt easier to changing salinity. Bull sharks, for example, usually live in the salty open ocean, but can also survive in fresh water for extended periods of time. Wow! That is so interesting. In 1937, two fishermen caught a bull shark while fishing in the Mississippi River in Alton, Illinois. That's 1,750 miles from the Gulf of Mexico. Ocean ice can affect salt levels as well. As seawater freezes, the dissolved minerals are forced out. The saltier water sinks underneath the freezing ice. As ocean ice melts, the fresh water dilutes surrounding ocean water. Evaporation of water from the surface of the ocean leaves the salts behind. As more water evaporates, the remaining water becomes saltier. This is best demonstrated by lakes that have no outlets, like the Dead Sea in Israel, or the Great Salt Lake in Utah. A man-made example is the Salton Sea in California that was accidentally formed when an irrigation channel overflowed into an ancient dried-up lake bed, forming a massive lake. Initially, the Salton Sea was a popular resort destination, but as the lake dried up, salt levels increased, leading to toxic conditions and large fish die-offs. The Salton Sea was subsequently dubbed the biggest environmental disaster in California history. The temperature of seawater varies as well. The oceans soak up the sun rays, absorbing the energy. Surface temperatures are higher at the sunny equator than at the frigid poles, and can vary depending on the season. Temperature also varies with depth. In general, the deeper parts of the ocean are colder and more constant than the surface temperatures. The uneven surface heating generates currents that keep salt water constantly moving. A famous accident provided a real-life demonstration of ocean currents. On January 10, 1992, a cargo ship traveling through a storm in the North Pacific, lost several containers into the ocean. One of the containers contained 28,800 bath toys in the form of little yellow rubber ducks, green frogs, blue turtles, and red beavers, the friendly floaties, as they have been named. First appeared on Alaskan shores in the fall of 1992, but have since been found on beaches all over the Pacific and even passed through the Arctic Ocean to since up on Atlantic beaches in New England and Europe. There is a fun website, plasticadrift.org, that can show where a piece of trash dropped in a specific spot in the ocean will likely end up over time. Visit plasticadrift.org to learn more. Pressure also varies throughout the oceans. As you travel deeper in the water, the weight of the water above you pushes down and more force. We measure pressure using atmospheres. 1 atmosphere is the pressure of the air around us every day. The surface of the ocean measures 1 atmosphere and increases about 1 atmosphere for every 10 meters of depth. In the deepest part of the ocean, Challenger Deep, pressure is 1,100 times the pressure at the surface. Density is affected by salt as well. The more salt, the denser the water. The Dead Sea in Israel is 34% of salt. Visitors to the Dead Sea will float quite easily in the dense water. In fact, it is almost impossible to sink. Finally, the density of seawater determines how fast waves travel through the water. Many marine animals, such as whales and dolphins, use sound to navigate and to find food. I hope you enjoyed learning about the many properties of saltwater. If you liked this video, be sure to leave a thumbs up and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss any more of our future videos. Thanks for watching!